Welcome to the Advanced RPO podcast, Advancing Talent Acquisition. I could not be more excited for our guest today, Jeff Martin. He is a risk taker, a disruptor of the status quo, and he is my spirit animal. So Jeff, after that introduction, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Man, I'll keep it simple. I am a recruiter at heart, right? Yes, I own a business, staffing firm, and have a bunch of employees. But as I was just telling you, I wake up every day and still recruit. One, because I love it. And two, if you're going to own a recruiting business, you really need to understand the trends and response rates and things like that. So it's one reason that I never stop. But at the end of the day, I'm a recruiter, and as you know, adapted way before anyone, some of my LinkedIn strategies and sort of put me on the map that way. But that's it. I mean, true and through.
Authentic, I would say you are.
Oh yeah. Too much.
Yeah. No, I don't think ever too much. I think that's a good thing.
But I wake up every day and go to find good people as my down-to-earth answer.
Right. Okay. All right, good. Well, our topic today is the power shift between employers and candidates. So a lot of people refer to this as
love that one.
The employer-driven market versus a candidate-driven market. What market are we in, so on and so forth. So currently, the power is held by the employers according to labor market data. And the perception is that when employers are in power, if you will, companies don't have to cater as much to workers and can pay them less.
100%.
What are your thoughts on that?
Oh my God, I've been waiting for this day. And listen, we're starting this new recruiting company that's pro candidate. Like, how do we help them better? How do we give them more love? So I'm not happy about it that they don't get it, but we needed, from COVID, we needed a reset, especially in mortgage and finance, which I'm in. So first, it started that anyone can call their own shots. I'm going to work on the moon. You're going to pay me this. And people had to, because there was more jobs than people actually qualified for in the world. That was a fact.
Yep.
Then you heard, all right, we'll never go back. We're remote. I was one of the only ones that said, I guarantee this won't last. Now, for some roles, it's perfect, right? It opened up a lot of roles where people can now do what they want, but a lot it wasn't, right? Especially newbies being trained and need hands-on. And we are finally all the way back. It was out of control. Over the years, it was a little, and so-and-so said back to work 2 days a week hybrid, which I think some companies are using that to figure out the sweet spot.
Right.
There are many, many, many that are back in the office, and that's the difference, right? And companies started saying, all right, we got to get back to one company culture, and by the way, there's plenty of positions that you could work remote, be successful. You don't need the rah-rah, right? So that's fine. That will stay. And I'll say this, the candidates don't care. There was a period where if it wasn't remote, I don't want to talk to you. I haven't had that, but maybe one time where it was a deal killer in the last 6 months. So I think both parties understand, and I'll be honest, I think the job seekers are starting to be like, you know what? It's kind of cool going in and talking to people and having friends in happy hours.
Yeah, it's definitely a shift, especially for the new generation.
They need it the most. They were the ones I was the most worried about. If you don't understand company culture and your first job is in your living room on Zoom, you lose something.
You don't have that backbone structure that you need to be successful. Okay, so you said something in a recent post that really resonated with me. You said that candidates are no longer just job seekers. They're consumers of the hiring process. Tell us what you mean by that.
Well, it used to just be sort of put your resume, submit and pray, I call it, right? And there's just tools now and access, really LinkedIn, really being the biggest one, but some AI tools where anyone can now get a hold of you. And I don't have to just send my resume in. And there's so many tools and sites or whatever, all the way down to social, where I can really check out your office and know about you and the people there before I even submit a resume.
Yes.
Now it's, let me do my research. Let me see if I even want to waste my time And there's enough info out there across platforms and information to get on the phone with people. I had 2 calls in the last week of people that wanted recruiting roles that figured out a way, let me just call. So it's no more, let me just put my resume in and pray someone calls. It's, let me try to hunt down who's hiring. Let me do some research online. Let me go on social, see what's going on.
And I think it's great. I think it's great. Where I not struggle with it, but where I see challenges with it is that companies are slow to adapt to that new methodology that candidates are using when they're searching for jobs. And so are they prepared to answer questions about a culture, about the job? It's not like there's people hanging out on trees out front that as soon as you have a job open that want to come in and work. There's so much competition out there, especially with remote.
I tell 100%. And as you know, I consult a lot, and a lot of the people I consult with are my clients, but it's just, hey, what do we do here versus someone I don't recruit for? First thing is speed, right? There are a lot of good jobs and there's a lot of good candidates. And depending on the job, right? Listen, there's high level stuff that's different, right? But the average job seeker now has some options because there's a lot of people hiring, right? And I don't know every single sector, so I can't pretend I do. But I tell my clients, I say, listen, I literally had this call on Monday. They love 2 candidates. I said, all right, we better make them an offer tonight or they're gone, right? At some levels, if you're just looking for the sales individual 6 to 10 years out, right? There's a million other companies looking for that person. And just don't think that you're so special. You're the only place they're interviewing.
Exactly. Yeah.
I say you need to realize that if they're good enough for you, then they're good enough for 10 other places, and they're not waiting 5 weeks for 4 interviews. That's the one thing that did help in COVID, because it got down to, let's just do a Zoom and get it over with, right?
Yeah, I think companies have to be more prepared when they're going in, and it's not a one-way interview like it used to be back in the day. I think it's a 2-way interview, and if you're not prepared as a hiring manager or a company to really sell the opportunity and sell the company, you're not going to get talent. To your point, there's lots of opportunities that people can pick from. So it's not just because you enjoy and love working at the company that you work for, that doesn't mean that everyone will or knows why. And so you have to be prepared to answer questions. And really, I think at the end of the day, if candidates aren't asking you questions about the company and putting you in that position to sell, then do you wonder if they're really serious about the job? Like, it, for me as a hiring manager, that's a good indicator that someone is serious about this opportunity, this company. They want to know more about what we're doing. They want me to sell them on it, why they should work here. So I really think it's much more of a 2-way street.
I've never had more, as a company and me personally, interviews turn down jobs than in the last year, which tells you they have options, right? Years ago, there was none. Then there was COVID, where they could have a job. There was people, as you know, working 2 jobs and no one knew about it. Right? But I've never seen it, and I tell my clients this, I've never seen more jobs turned down because they have other good opportunities. And I actually like that, because that makes you better roll out the red carpet a little bit better, make these people feel like this is where I want to be.
Exactly. So as we talked about, we're currently in what we would consider an employer-driven market, and employers have more power. When we're in a candidate-driven market, talking about COVID and during that time when there were so many opportunities, there was a lot of candidate ghosting, and I think we called it the Great Resignation. What standards do you think candidates should be held to when they're technically holding the power in the market?
I mean, one, I literally told someone this the other day, you still have to be respectful, right? You play your game, but don't forget the recruiter or the owner that you're sort of screwing over. We know people. It'll come back, right? So I always say, listen, you may not want to go work there.
Right.
It may not be for you. You may not like the culture, but respect the opportunity. Respect the person that's giving you the opportunity to, I don't see much of that anymore, right? You have companies opening their doors. All you have to do is pick up your phone and say, no, thank you. And by the way, that also on some levels starts with the recruiter or their contact, because if you're treating that person right, they feel comfortable telling you everything.
Yes, agreed.
It can go both ways. Hey, I might ghost you because you never got back to me.
It can go both ways. And I think that's the point in this. Just do the right thing, right?
Don't be that person. Just no, thank you. Send an email, right? And most people.
Well, and candidates have always had the, complaint, if you will, that employers are ghosting or not getting back to them. So I think it's a two-way street. I think whether employers are in power, if you will, or job seekers are in power, both companies and individuals owe common respect is what it comes down to.
100%. And that's all. I said, don't burn a bridge. You know how many candidates that I placed somewhere else in the first role didn't make sense or work out, but two things. I was nice to them, so they felt comfortable coming back, and they were nice to me. Why not reach out to you? But we have times where somebody will apply to a job. They don't really know it's us behind the scenes. And recruiters will say, that guy or girl, ghosted me. So you're going to lose opportunity.
Agreed. 100%. Okay. So one more question for you. I asked every podcast guest this question. It's my favorite. What is your top career tip that you'd like to share with our listeners? So this doesn't have to be about the topic today, anything. If you could give one piece of advice to people about their career, what would it be?
Oh, man. So I got a bunch, right? If it was an interview, it'd be something else. But
yeah,
I have a lot of CEOs that say this, but if you take care of the work, it'll take care of you.
Yes.
So whatever you're going in to do it at such a level. I tell people all the time, I say, hey, like someone starts a job and 6 months in, they're not running the show. Hey, the cream will always rise. So this is what I tell anyone listening. Any CEO, any good company notices when the cream is rising. You may think you're ready to be tapped on the shoulder, but you're not. It'll come, right? So just take care of the work and it will take care of you. The take care of you part is you will be noticed. I promise you, you will be seen. You will move up. You will get that promotion. But if you're just going through the motions, punch in, punch out 9 to 5, then you're not taking care of the work, right? Somebody's paying you to do a job. Don't just do it, kill it.
Right. And you have to be consistent with that. It's not like you can come into a job and kill it, to your point, for 6 months and then say, well, I've been doing it and no one's recognizing me, so now I'm going to just kind of sit back and do work, but not really put all of it in. You've got to go 100%. That's one of the things that I love about you, is that you are 100% all the time. And I think that's why you're creating those opportunities for yourself. And that's what people need to understand, I think, from that piece of advice.
Take care of the work and the work will take care of you. That's like the most easy standard across every single career in the world. That's it. You're being hired for some sort of job, do it above and beyond, and you'll move up.
Everything else will fall into place.
Everything else will work. Yeah.
I love that so much. So thank you, Jeff, for joining us today. This was a great conversation. And for our listeners, make sure you subscribe to this podcast. And if you have a topic that you're interested in that we haven't covered yet, please mention it in the comments, and we will pick that topic up for an episode in the future. Thank you again, Jeff, and see you all next time.
I'll talk to you soon.